What's up, everybody? Ryan Sickler here, and I just wanted to let you know that tickets to my fall dates of the Live and Alive tour are on sale now. Go to ryansickler.com, get your tickets to all shows. I'm coming to Austin, Dallas, La Jolla, Salt Lake City, Denver, Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis, Madison, Portland, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, and Tempe. Tickets for all shows are available right now on my website at ryansickler.com.
The HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the HoneyDew, y'all. We're over here doing it in the Night Pants Studios. I am Ryan Sickler. I'm ryansickler.com. And Ryan Sickler on all your social media. And I'm starting this episode like I start them all by saying thank you. Thank you for whatever you do in any way you support anything I do. Thank you. Thank you for your support of this show. Thank you for your support of the Way Back. That show is so much fun. It's doing really well, and I can't thank you enough for that. And man, if you got to have more, I'm telling you, you got to have the Patreon. All right. The Patreon, look, I know people spend a lot of money on things out there and there's a lot of expenses and we all have this and that. I'm keeping it at $5. It's the lowest I can keep it. I've never raised it. It's been years and I'm telling you, it's the wildest stories you will ever hear. It's worth a cup of coffee. For that $5, you're getting hundreds of stories. You get the whole library. You get audio and video. You get the HoneyDew a day early. You get it ad free, okay, at no extra cost. And you're hearing stuff that you're not going to hear anywhere else. It's the HoneyDew with y'all. It's this show with y'all. And I promise you, I'll have the wildest stories I've ever heard in my life. I'm the new dude at like parties, like the paramedic, like, yeah, we had to peel this guy off I'm that guy now. I'm like, I just talked to a dude that lost his hand and he called me from the hospital with the nub wrapped up. We talked to a guy who just told us that he committed insurance fraud to fund a helicopter so he could hover above his ex-wife's house and stalk her. That's a true story. Anyway, come see me on tour too. If I'm in your town, when you're around, tickets are on my site at ryansickler.com. All right. It's a fun time. Come see me on the Live and Alive tour. I promise you we'll have a good time out there. All right. That's it now. You guys know what we do. We highlight the lowlights here. And I always say these are the stories behind the storytellers. I'm very excited to have this guest back on the Dew, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Shapel Lacey. Yeah. Welcome back to the HoneyDew.
This is my third time.
It's third, right?
Third time, man. We're doing it.
And we got some good stuff to talk about. We're gonna highlight some stuff.
I feel like we always talk about really good stuff. Yeah.
But before we do, plug everything you want, all of it.
Oh, yeah. So I have a podcast that's I don't know how, like a year old maybe. It's called Lesser Known Characters. I do it with Joel Jimenez. We sit down, we talk with people. We get to know people through their musical interests, basically. And like we ask these, like, oh yeah, we got to get you on. And so basically we ask these people a series of questions and we get to know them through like their world of like music. Okay. You know what I mean? It's really cool. Yeah. Like one of the questions is like, first album you bought, and everyone like has a story behind that. So it's all music based, but it's like really fun. And then tour dates. Yeah, I got tour. I got what do I got? I got July 11th through 13th. I'll be in Rochester at comedy at the Carlson. Have you done that one?
Mm-mm.
No, haven't done that one. I haven't done it either. And then July 28th, I'll be in Portland for one night doing Helium, and then going home to Arizona August 1st to do Tempe Improv, and then August 15th through 17th, I'll be at the DC Comedy Loft. So those are my dates.
All right.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Chappelle's last episode, especially, go check it out because we talked about a person that was super influential in your life. His name was Chip.
Chip Chilton. Yep.
Chip, what is it?
Chip Chilton.
Chilton.
Yep.
Like the Chilton's manual.
Yeah. What is
that? You know
that?
about that's an old car manual back in the day. You said go to Chilton's, it would tell you what it cost. And like if you were going to buy a car before the internet, you go to a Chilton's manual.
It's almost like a Carfax?
Yeah. Like it was the paper book of Carfax.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. You go to a Chilton's manual and it would tell you, it would also, actually, maybe I'm wrong about that. It might not be that was Kelly Blue Book. Chilton was your actual manual for your car. So if you were a car head that wanted to work on your car and you didn't want to go take it to Toyota or whatever, you could go get
tell you how to
a
do
Chilton manual for a 1981 Toyota to sell, whatever, and then everything you needed to know was
We don't have
book.
that nowadays.
I wonder if they do. We'll have to look it up. But anyway, sorry. Chip Chilton.
You're good.
Chip Chilton.
Yeah.
And since then, I know that you've reconnected because he emailed, I think, my manager maybe, and then he sent it to me.
Yes.
And I sent it to you.
Yes.
And
so
just real quick, if I remember too, I don't think you reached out right away.
No.
And then when I saw you at the store, you're like, I have to tell you, I got a hold of Chip.
Yeah.
And we only talked for like 10 seconds because I think we were on the stairs of the OR, if I remember right.
I think you were going up.
I think I was. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So, first of all, please reintroduce who Chip was in your life and why he was so important.
So
and then
Chip,
tell me about connecting with him.
So I've had 3 different anger management teachers in my life. So Chip, my parole officer. I'm just kidding. So Chip was the warden at the prison.
Right?
No, so Chip was my 3rd anger management teacher, but that was the anger management teacher that made the biggest impact on me because he used a lot of the things that I liked as far as like punk rock and all this like the elements of punk rock to help me, guide me with taking care of my anger and just getting things in check.
Can I ask you this question as I'm sitting here thinking about it?
Yeah.
Do you think also that being the 3rd anger management person that maybe you're more receptive to this now as well? Do you think if you got Chip first, it would have had the same impact as if you'd had Chip 3rd? You know what I'm saying?
That's a great question.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, because I've been through it already.
Because also you're like, man, maybe I do need this, but I need the right voice to talk to me about this.
Yeah.
And I wonder if maybe the first person you just been like double middle finger there, like, I don't care who you are.
No, that's a fair question because, when I think about the 2 before, I don't think any person that's like sat down and taught, help me with my anger. I don't think any of those people were like wrong, but there was something that Chip just had this magic,
way.
I would say they set a foundation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could agree with that. I guess if that's basically that answers that question. Yeah, I think the first 2, for sure set a foundation and like it did make, because when I think about the first one, I was kind of like,
yeah, you ain't giving nothing.
I was like, bro, what?
Number
what are you
one.
saying to me? Yeah, what? I gotta calm down. What? I was like, I'm not doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? And the second one, that one, shout out Miss Berry, she like opened the door. She was like, oh, you were abused. And I was like, oh, wow. She opened that door. And then Chip was like, okay, here's what you're gonna do. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I would say the second one helped me understand.
So what's her name? Miss Berry?
Miss Berry, yeah.
She identified it.
Oh,
she told you this is why you're angry. And you hadn't known necessarily why.
Because
you just knew you
gotta
were.
realize, like, most people that have anger issues, we don't think we're doing anything wrong.
Yeah, I know.
We're like, oh, no, that's the reaction. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, we don't think it's like wrong. But if you're like outside of yourself and you look at the situation, you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Then you're like, oh, that's how. That's
maybe
how
I didn't need to flip the table.
Maybe I didn't need to do all that. Yeah. That's exactly. It's so funny you say flip the table because me flipping the table is what got me into anger management.
Is it where?
Well, no, not the first time. It was in high school. Some kid was throwing because they would make me sit up front in classes because I wouldn't pay attention or whatever. And so this kid was like throwing paper, behind me. And then I looked back and I looked at my homie and said, "You want to see me flip out?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "All right." So I waited for him to throw another one. And then I stood up, flipped that desk. And Miss Samuels, the math teacher, she was like, "Oh my God," And I was like, "Bro, throw another piece of paper. I'll kill you, bro." Oh no, I said I'd kick his chest in. Oh. That's what I said. We can't forget about kicking the chest in.
Yeah, a lot of kicking chest.
A lot of kicking chest. So anyways, that's actually not how. But yeah, that's one of the,
So anyways, Miss Berry's like, Miss Berry, this is what's up.
Miss Berry was like, "This is what's up. This is what. Right. Yeah." She was like, "This is what happened.
Here's somebody else's issue.
Yeah. This is what was happening to you. But now we're just gonna now that you know that, so we're gonna put that over here. now we're going to talk about you and like what you're doing. You know, they narrowed it down. And then Chip was like, you know, I think Chip was more like, it felt like a friendship more than anything. I felt like it was like.
Do you know your age difference at the time? How old are you when you meet Chip?
So Chip was, I think, in his late 50s.
And how old
I was
you?
in my early 20s.
Okay.
I had to be like 22, 21 maybe. Was I 21? I don't know. I can't remember. It was like early 20s though. You know, it was when I had, when Chip had came to my life. So, but yeah, like he was just the one that like, you know, he would just like say things that just made so much sense that like it just like on a level that I was like, man, this guy understands me as if he's known me the whole time. But it's weird because it's like I could say that, but with Chip, he really understood me because because Chip also knew the music that I liked. You know what I'm saying? So with that, like being said, like him understanding that and understanding this unique world that I come from, because punk rock is, you know, at least the level that I was like in it or whatever. Like it's a unique kind of underground world. Like I would go to like there's this thing about going to shows when I was a kid, going to shows, and I'd have the craziest nights of stage diving and moshing and all this shit. And I go to school the next day. There wasn't many people I could talk to about that because it's like this, you know, unique underground world. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so that was like the, you know, the thing that Chip understood that. So the fact that he understood that right there, it was like he could say anything pretty much, but he would say the most insightful, you know, shit to me. So anyway, so that's why he made the biggest, you know, one of the reasons he made the biggest impact, and just his level of patience and his listening skills were like perfect. Like he could listen to me tell the whole story, and then once I was done with it, he can dissect everything I just said. Like that's how good he is, you know? And so anyways, yeah. Then you had reached out to me. I remember exactly where I was too. I was at, where was that? Oh, I said, where was I at? I was at San Jose.
I remember exactly where I was.
I was at San Jose Improv, right? And I just had got off stage, and I had a great set. I was doing a one-nighter.
That's a nice double rush.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, it was, dude, that crowd that night was like just, I don't know, something, and it was like a Wednesday night too. Like I didn't sell it out, but it was like, you know, still pretty damn packed, you know? And I get off stage, and then, you know, I'm like on one, you know, saying hi to the fans, you know how you feel, you know, you feel good about your set. And then driving back to the hotel, which was like right around the corner. And then all of a sudden, you know, I see your message, and you're like, you know, and you said something. You just said something so vague. You said, "I think you might want to listen to this." And then I, you know, I listened to it. As soon as I heard the I was like, "Oh my God!" I went numb. I was like, "No way!" I said, "No way, no way." I said, "This ain't real." This like he didn't even have to say words. He just said, and I knew exactly who it was. But I like. And I've been, you know, yeah, I had been searching for him for a while. I've been trying to find him.
The fans found him.
And it was great. So then, you know.
You all.
Yeah,
the
you
best
know,
fans in comedy.
The best fans.
Found Chip Chilton.
You guys are amazing for what you did. I don't know. I don't think they realize how much they changed my life or whatever. And literally, yeah, it took me like a week.
Did it a week, was it?
Yeah, because I didn't know what I was just, I think
What'd you do when you went back to the hotel?
I sat there and I repeated
You listened again?
I kept listening over and over.
He said something like, I forgot that it was a voice message until you just said that.
Yeah.
It wasn't an email.
He's so funny because
he said something. I think he mentioned me on a podcast.
Yeah. And he goes, episode, he named the number of the episode.
That's the fans out there. I think you're on episode 262.
Yeah, I think he even released the date of what.
Time code.
Yeah, seriously. And so then I finally call him, right? And
did you make sure you had time?
Yeah. You know what was so funny about the way I had to go call him? So I left my house. I got in my car. I drove to a different neighborhood. I parked in the neighborhood and I sat in the car and I was like, okay, because I was terrified because I hadn't talked to him in so long.
Hey, how many years do you know?
14 years.
Okay.
At that time, it had been 14 years.
Time.
14 years since we had a conversation, right? And so I call him, and he goes, Henry Rollins would say, and I was like, like that's how he started it. He started it like that because he would use a lot of like Henry Rollins, like spoken word and stuff like that, and like like his talks, and he used that to like because he knows I'm a big Henry Rollins geek, like that's like number one to me. And so the fact that Chip I was like, man, it's been 14 years, and the fact that he said, Rollins would say, he always says he's like
that
very
was his
insightful.
Hello.
That was his hello, and then he goes, I have to tell you, kiddo. He calls me kiddo. He's always called me kiddo.
How old is he now, real quick?
Chip's got to be
this is
either late 60s.
Okay.
Or late 60s or into the 70s or something like that. And so he goes, kiddo, I had no clue. You know what I mean? And I said, Chip, how did they find you? And he goes, someone from Wisconsin emailed me. And they said, are you, Chip Chilton, blah, 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 blah. Used to work at this college, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I never write back to emails. But he goes, I thought it was like a spam or whatever. And he writes back and he goes, yes, Wisconsin. But it was someone that works in the field that he works. So he,
And where is he?
He's in Texas.
In Texas, okay.
Right. He just writes back, Wisconsin, ? And the person wrote back, oh my God, I'm crying right now. The person that wrote that, I can't believe I found you. And
I want to know who you are.
I know. I want to know who this person is. And they said something like, you have someone that's been speaking about you on a podcast, and I think you might want to see this. And I think they just sent the link. And then as soon as he saw my face, he just started crying. I was like, he goes, I just started bawling.
Did he know that you had done what you've done in comedy? Like, had he been,
I don't think so.
So everything's new to him.
Yeah, everything's new.
It's you, number one. Yeah. And that you're on this podcast and who you are in the world of comedy. Yes. So he's getting caught up.
Yeah. He's getting caught up. He just didn't not a clue. He just started.
Can you imagine? He's like, I'm not a fan of your comedy, but hey, man, my doctor told me that.
And so he started.
I'm more cleaner than you, but I'm really support you. I'll bet your ass does, don't you?
So then he was telling me he was raving about it to his wife, people in his neighborhood. He lives in like a small town out in Texas or whatever. And
is he still working in that field?
Yeah, he still works in that field. Yeah. And so he was saying I started hanging out with this guy. He's a buff guy. The guy is so buff he can move a car, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's describing, this guy. And he goes, he goes, I want you to see this. And Chip showed him the episode of me talking about him. And then Chip said the guy's wife called Chip and said, what do you have my husband watching? And he was like, oh, it's a podcast. And she goes, why? She goes, he's just been sitting here crying, watching it. They were crying from that episode.
Wow.
Yeah. It impacted them that much. And so we're sitting here.
Hope you all signed up for the Patreon.
So he's telling me all this stuff. And then we just started going into it. And he goes, now, first things first. He goes, I have to ask you, are you okay? He always does that. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, Chip. I'm good. And then he goes, all right, now, yeah, what's going on? And I just told him what I was doing, all this stuff. And, we're just catching up. And we're just talking as if he even said, he goes, kiddo, it doesn't feel like it's been 14 years.
That's the thing, right?
Since our last conversation. And I'm like, it doesn't. It literally feels like where we left off. I'm bugging out. Just talking to him, just dropping all this insightful knowledge and, just asking me about comedy and I was like, yeah, comedy's tough. I mean, you got to make people laugh, and two things are happening when you get on stage. Either they laugh or they don't, He goes, I want you to, he knows, because he knows I'll I'm a thinker and I like to read and I like to really understand. So he goes, I want you to read this book. It's called The Courage to Be Disliked. Right? He goes, read it. It's by these Japanese authors. I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, I'll read it. And then I check out the book or whatever. Not check it out. I bought it. Check out what is it?
Listen, I have a daughter, so we still go to the library. We're checking out books still. Checking out
the book.
It's still a thing.
Yeah, what the hell am I doing? And so it was like, what? Well, check out this book. No. And I read this book, and the way it's written, this is how crazy it is. This is how funny Chip is. The book is written not like a straight book, not like your average book. It's written, of a conversation between two people, a philosopher and a youth. And so the book is like basically like, it reminds me of the conversations that Chip and I would have. So like him being the philosopher and me being the youth, where I'd be like, but what about this, Chip? What about like, I would come with these like, these kind of like angst, sayings and like, just kind of negative thoughts. And he'd be like, well, this, and this, and this. And then I'm just like, wow. Like, I was like, this man still does it. He still does this thing for me. And fast forward, what's crazy is a buddy of mine has a recovery facility out here in Los Angeles. And he goes, hey man, I was curious if you want to teach anger management at my facility. And I was like, bro, I can't teach no anger management. Like, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I just do it. I was like, I can't fucking teach it, And he goes, just think about it. He goes, but I would really love for you to do it. So I called Chip. I was like, Chip, craziest thing, I was like, my buddy has a recovery facility out here and he wants me to teach anger management. He goes, do it. You have to do it. I go, what? He goes, you have to do it. He goes, you got to do it. Do it. So fast forward to today, I've been teaching anger management.
Have you?
Yeah, at a recovery facility.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. For how
long? Since December.
Damn, good for you,
I know,
Shapel Lacey.
It's kind of crazy.
Dude, congrats, man.
Know,
That's
pretty
all
wild.
Because of this podcast and reconnecting with Chip Chilton?
Yes.
Who the fuck were you that did this? I want to know, for real.
I need to know who this person was.
Yeah.
Because
it didn't come directly to me. It went through, I think it was my manager or somebody.
Yeah, you reached out to your manager. I was like, did Brian find? I was like, who found him? Right. And then when he told me that. But yeah, man, like, it's like, and I still call him to this day, because like. Have
you recommended the book to people?
I recommend it to everybody.
Dude, I'd be hitting Chip up like, what would you do in this situation? They go back there like, listen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
But
like, that's like the wildest thing. Like, we were talking a little bit before the pod. Like, you have your parents, and then you have like these.
Well, some of us did.
Some of us had parents. But even if you don't have your parents or whatever, but like, you also have these like people that are like. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily bigger than your parents, but they're this, or they could be, but they're like, heaven sent, where you just like as like this thing that's like almost like just so like profound, whether it be like a coach, or whatever, or like a teacher or a coworker, like a boss of some sort. But you always have these people. I've noticed that throughout my life is like everyone has this like. One person that's just like right there that's like telling you like, hey, everything's going to be fine. This is why it'll be fine. You're good enough for this. This is why you're good enough. For me, that
was my friend's mom, Miss Sandy. I still call her
Miss Sandy?
Yeah, Miss Sandy Patterson. My buddy Shannon, he's like a brother. We've been friends since 6th grade. Like, we're all going to hang out with the kids and stuff. Like, we're all still tight. But his mom was that. She was the person I could sit there with and she would let me be angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, my dad's dead. My mom's gone. She'd be like, be angry. And I wouldn't be judged for being mad. I wouldn't be judged for saying, fuck that person. She would get it. And she'd let me get it out. And then she'd start talking to me. And I'd calm down at that point. We'd start having a conversation. And it got to the point where I would go and sit and talk to her. They'd all go out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd sit and talk to her, and we would have to this day, I believe that the skill I have to have conversations like this, a big part of that is from her, because we would even have conversations where we would talk about abortion or whatever it was, birth control, whatever. And I would pick a side I didn't agree with and argue it with her.
Wow.
So I could see the other side of it. You know what I mean? She's you feel that way. But right now, instead of feeling the way you feel, just pause for a second. Act like you're the other thing and argue that with me. And then I'll be able to see both sides of things, you know? And I'll be like, all right, both sides have good points.
Yeah, so that's what Chip is for me. That's exactly what Chip is.
Yeah.
Where like, I'm telling you, like I would throw like these
more than a mentor too. Just wisdom, knowledge. Like I really feel like they were sent and again, that whole like we haven't talked in 15 years is like nothing.
And it doesn't feel like a textbook.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like it feels like this like novel that was written. It's beyond like a textbook.
It's interesting too, because when someone says a quote or some wisdom, I'm like, I know all those words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I've never heard them in that order.
Yeah.
I've never made that conscious thought before. And it's just like eye-opening.
Yeah.
Or you could just be angry and fight it the whole time. Like, oh, that's bullshit, hocus pocus, or whatever. Mood's potent product lineup is the perfect companion for whatever you have planned this summer. Their hemp-based THCA flower is the future of legal THC. Try it along with all of Mood's other amazing offerings like flower, gummies, vapes, and more. And for a limited time, Mood is giving my listeners a free THCA pre-roll and 20% off your first order. Just visit HelloMood.com and use code HoneyDew. I tried a few of their pre-rolls. They sent me a bunch of stuff, actually, and I picked some stuff from their Relieve line of products, and I was stoked to sit on my balcony and enjoy the sun that's finally showing itself out here in beautiful Los Angeles. Mood puts an end to guessing games with federally legal forms of THC extracted from hemp plants. All their products are regularly tested in third-party labs, sourced from small family farms, and pesticide-free. Beginner or veteran, however you like to take THC, Mood has you covered. Add more relaxation to your summer plans with Mood. For a limited time only, get 20% off your first order and a free THCA pre-roll. Just go to HelloMood.com and use promo code HoneyDew. That's HelloMood.com, code HoneyDew, for 20% off your order and a free THCA pre-roll. Guys tend to think looking sharp means starchy Oxfords and stiff chinos rather than effortless comfort, but it is possible to have it both ways. Mack Weldon makes timeless apparel with modern performance fabrics for guys who want to look and feel sharp without sacrificing comfort. Look, before they were even a sponsor on this show, I was on Mack Weldon. I had already bought their hoodie. I bought their underwear. The underwear are my favorite pair of underwear right now. And then they sent me out some joggers that are just, everything is so soft. It fits great. And I just bought a new sweater off their line using the code HoneyDew. Mack Weldon apparel gives you understated good looks for understated confidence. They're not flashy, just classic, always in style, made from the world's most comfortable performance materials. Get timeless looks with modern comfort from Mack Weldon. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code HoneyDew. That's MackWeldon.com, promo code HoneyDew. Again, that's MackWeldon.com, promo code HoneyDew. Now, let's get back to the do. One of those assholes. Damn. I don't want to be one of those assholes.
No, yeah, exactly. And so, like I do, one of the biggest things that I struggle with, like not struggle, but like it'll happen from time to time. Like I'll have these nightmares. There's two nightmares that I'll have, right? And one is if I have a dream that I drank alcohol, because I don't do anything. Yeah. If I have a dream that I drank alcohol, I'll wake up in a panic, right? Also, if I hurt somebody, I'll wake up in a panic. Because those were the two things that I like struggled with.
I see. So if you physically hurt someone in the dream, it wakes you up.
It wakes me up, and I wake up in like a big panic, like, oh, holy fuck, it'll kind of like tear down like my my morning.
Isn't it a shame that You know what I'm about to say?
No,
you shouldn't be able to whoop someone's ass in your dreams and feel good. Wake up and be like, oh man, that's what I needed. You know?
Yeah.
Why can't we funnel our issues into the dreams and be like, woo, did heroin?
Come on,
I feel fucking good.
I got drunk in my dreams. I'm good. I don't need to do it. I do it in my dreams. I'll do it in my dreams. I'll do it in my dreams.
I'll do it in my dreams then.
Listen, I'll beat your ass in my dreams.
I'll see you tonight, motherfucker. I promise you that.
It's so funny. Right, it is.
At some point, there will be a technology where they'll be like, hey, just take your anger and put it in your dream.
Well, I didn't tell you, this happened to me. I was doing a show in Richmond, right? And the club ain't even there no more. But it was a bad show. Real bad show. That show sucked, right? And security was bad. You know, it was one of those things where the security guard was trying to be a comic. He wanted to be a comic. And those are like the worst security guards. Like, don't let someone who's trying to do because they don't care.
They don't care.
They're just
they're first one running.
Their first thought is, I'm just trying to get in at the club, you know? So anyways, I'm doing this show, right? And there's these young kids that were sitting up front for, you know, like 21-year-olds, right? They were like, I'm in the South, right? They're like, you know, the country bumpkin. They weren't from Richmond. They were from somewhere outside of Richmond that was like a country bumpkin town, right? And they were just getting rowdy, right? And they were like cheers. They thought they were at a bar, right? Meanwhile, like there's a crowd and people were trying to pay attention. And people were getting annoyed because no one's doing anything about it, right? Especially because they've been doing it the whole show. You know, I'm headlining, so by the time I get up, they should have been already like out of the way. So, anyways, they had a bucket of beer on stage. They were sitting front, right? So I took the bucket of beer and I put it on the stage and I said, "Y'all can't have it back until I'm done, right? And then we'll have fun. We'll be cool. Like I'm trying to be cool, trying to be nice. We'll have fun. We'll be cool. Whatever. It's all good." So then they laughed at that. They were like, okay, well, you know, because I already had told them, like, we got to chill, you know? And then, like, a few minutes later, I'm only like 15 minutes into my set. One of them's like flipping me off, like holding it like that, strong, right? And I look at the dude and I said, "Hey, man, you flipping me off?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Homie, I will kick your chest in." And then he goes, "I'll beat your ass." He was a little dude, right? And I'm sitting, we're barking back and forth at each other. I was like, "Chappelle, this kid's little. Like, you would look insane beating his ass. You would look insane. Like, he was a little dude." And he had, and I knew they didn't want him because he had
Shapel Lacey beats child.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, look like,
in the South. And so there's like, and I knew they didn't want it because I've been in so many fights. You would know what's good, especially with the fact that they were sitting front row, like their table was touching the stage. The fact close enough to where I could just walk up and grab the bucket of beer. And so I was like, they didn't want it, you know. So, but we couldn't start barking back and forth at each other, you know. And then I was like, "Bro, did you just call me the N-word?" Right? And then the whole crowd got pissed. They started booing him, right? And then
is a white dude?
White dude, yeah.
Damn.
So then security finally comes up. And the security was a big guy too, so I don't know why he didn't do something.
I'm just trying to get five.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get that.
Go.
Hey, you got a guest spot? Can I get a guest spot on the late show? Yeah. So he finally gets up. He escorts them out. Right. Yeah. The crowd's like booing them as they walk out. Right. So then they get outside, and like I said, I'm only 15 minutes into the show, and this is the early show too, which is like crazy because that's late show energy.
Yeah, that's late show energy.
And so then. You know, the crowd, like they get kicked out. I asked the crowd to say, "Hey, is everyone okay? Everyone good?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, we're good." I was like, "Good," because he never called me the N-word, but I had to get him out. So then these dudes they got outside and the security after the show. Security told me, he goes, "Dude, they got in a fight outside." And I was like, "Damn."
Amongst each other because they thought he said it.
Oh, nah. So his homies thought he said it because they were like shoving him against the wall like, "Why would you say that?" And he was like, "I never said it."
There you go.
I said, "Yeah, you did that night."
In my dreams,
in my dreams, you did. In my dreams. No, it was. I know I can be petty, but it like.
You know, listen, you bring a great point because I also have had a quick fuse. It's grown. I've allowed it to grow for sure, especially having, kids in your life and the way they test you, and you got to be like, here,
Yeah.
So I was in, was it Toledo, I think.
Is that Ohio, right?
Yeah. And this late show energy, and it's a packed house. And this is an old dude and his wife at a 2-top against the wall over here.
Okay. Was it the Funny Bone?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I always give a little bit of leeway because sometimes people don't know how to order quietly.
Oh.
I'll take the mozzarella sticks and the chicken. And you up here talking, so I don't know if this is an asshole. I have to stop for a second. I'm like, okay, that's just a loud order.
Yeah, just loud order.
Loud order.
Loud order.
Give me 2 margaritas.
Yeah. Loud order.
There's also people that don't know how to fucking whisper.
Yeah.
They think that just making their voice husky is a whisper.
Yeah.
Keeping it at this volume.
Yeah.
Chappelle.
Oh, yeah.
Chappelle. You hear what he just said, Chappelle?
Yeah. It's just like
Chappelle,
a thick whisper.
Yeah. It's not a whisper at all.
Yeah.
So there's those people too. And if you call them out, you're the asshole. A big guy be like, I'm just ordering.
Yeah, I'm just ordering.
I love the joke. I'm just
I was trying to get
trying
to get my drink.
Then you look like the asshole, right?
Yep.
But there are those people, these guys, this fucking guy over here.
Yep.
His name was Chuck. And I told him to shut the fuck up. But I was nice first.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I always ask, everything all right over there?
Yeah, yes. That's what I'm saying. We
Because
always start nice.
I'm super aware of, I don't want any dude harassing a lady, and I didn't know if he, you know what I mean? I never know. Everything, I want the lady to be like, no, it's not okay. I'm like, well, all right.
Yeah.
So they had told me too, which is funny. They're like, hey, just so you know, here at the club, if you need to get anybody out of here, it's let's give him another water.
Yes.
And I said, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy's like, nah, we're just having a good time. You get shit-faced. And I'm like, all right, well, you can enjoy yourself, but keep it down. I said, I don't usually speak up until I can tell people around you are annoyed.
Yes. Yeah, because you can feel that energy.
I'm watching them turn around.
Yeah, when people start turning around, they're like,
and all this.
Yep.
So I said, well, now you're affecting these people's time. And now I have to say something. So just chill while I have a good time.
Yeah.
Go back 2 minutes later, same shit. I'm like, you okay? Yeah, just keep doing your thing. I'm trying to do my fucking thing, but you won't shut the fuck up. And I'm saying it like that, and the crowd's like, telling them, be quiet. I'm like, look, man, if you don't, we're going to have to tell you to leave.
Yeah.
So 2 minutes later, again, I go, hey, man, shut the fuck up.
There you go.
For real.
Throw it.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
I said, I know I'm a nice dude, but these people paid. We all want to have a good time. We're not here for you tonight.
See, that's the thing I love. That's the thing I like to say to people because I'm like, hey, man, like, you're disrespecting me, but you're also disrespecting the people that are like, literally trying to watch this show.
And those are good people that also want to shut that person up for you.
Exactly.
They were hit there to see, like, hey, we want to enjoy this.
Yeah.
Don't fuck this up for everybody. So I go, dude, look, I don't want to throw you out, but we're going to throw you out if you don't. She goes, do it. I go, great. Get the fuck out of here. And the whole place starts clapping. And so I don't ask for a cup of water. The security I had hooked up with them, not hooked up, they're dudes, but I smoked them out. We're hanging. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't even remember their names. Like, I'm like, Rodney.
Yeah.
Terry, let's get this motherfucker out of here. I didn't give a fuck about the drink.
Yep.
And then as he walked by, we're going, fuck you, Chuck. And the whole club's like, fuck you, Chuck.
Damn.
Fuck you, Chuck.
Yeah.
He's just going like this on his way
Let him
out.
have it.
And I'm laughing. I said, and here's the beautiful thing, Chuck. We got 3 cameras recording all this tonight.
Exactly.
And you will be seeing it on the internet, y'all. Fuck you, Chuck.
Yeah, fuck Chuck.
Man, those people in the audience, they don't want it either. There's
this weird thing with because I try.
But as a person who also is like, I'm trying to give you some fucking.
That's the thing.
Trying to give you some leash here, bro.
Well, I'm actually like trying to be nice because there's times where I could just go 0 to 100, but it's like no, I don't want to do that because also I don't want to make the show awkward. I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable being there and shit like that. Like now,
but also you are.
But I want to address it like in the nicest way because
for
sometimes
all intents and purposes, we are the master of the fucking ceremony, and it is our job to tell those people, hey, shut the fuck up because you're ruining things for
for the people that are
and
listening.
they don't want to speak up.
Yeah, like you're disrespecting these people too.
We got you out there.
Yeah. I always have people. I always have, good audience people's back at a show because it's like, it's not fun. Like you're just like ruining it for people. But yeah, like the thing is,
can you also imagine like you go to class and they're like, my anger management teacher kicked this guy in the face at a comedy show.
I'm doing really good in life. I haven't wanted to fight somebody in a minute. I came in the last time I wanted to fight somebody.
Look,
actually, I'm trying to think about it.
You're about to be 40, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm 37.
Couple years. I mean, look, man, if you're still fighting in your 40s,
I know.
Unless it's for a life or death situation,
yeah.
If
but
you're just still at the bar and shit, fighting in your 40s,
it's embarrassing.
If you're still a let's go guy, in your 40s,
let's get up. Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I know. There's times where I've gotten out of cars and shit. And
have you?
Hell yeah.
Have you ever gotten in an altercation where you were like, oops, like the dude had a gun or like any, you know what I'm saying? Where you're like,
I've had a gun pull on me, but it was a homie fucking around.
Oh, no, that doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count. No. I shouldn't. Yeah, no, that's why I stopped getting out of the car.
Did you ever lose?
Have I ever lost a fight? Yeah, man.
But I mean, one you picked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was in elementary school. I remember it clearly. Yep. I don't remember the kid's name, but he just came to that school. And I remember, I don't know what it was, the way it just started beef between he and I. And this kid was bigger than me too. But I remember one day he came up to I don't know, we were playing basketball and I wasn't good at basketball at all. So I would just talk shit on the court because I was like, I suck at this. But everyone else was like, doing the damn thing. And I don't know if he like made fun of me because I missed a shot, airballed something. I can't remember what it was, but I just looked at it and I was like, you know what? You and your mother live in a fucking trash can, right? This is like 4th grade.
4th grade. Yeah. That's like my daughter's. I can't imagine hearing some kids say that.
You and your mother live in a fucking trash can.
We ain't hanging out with that motherfucker.
What's so funny about me saying that is like, bro, my family was poor as fuck. So I'm sitting here being poor, projecting that this dude is poor. And so he was like, what you saying? I said, you heard me. Then he started chasing me. And I was like, oh shit, run. So I started running. And then I tripped at the tetherball court. Rolled, and he caught me. And then this is why I say this, because he stomped my chest.
Did he?
Yeah.
That was where it was.
That's where it was.
The origin
That's
story.
The origin story. I'm stomping the chest.
You got your chest.
Yeah, I got my. He said, "Man, me and my mama, what? Me and mama, what? What?" And I was like, "All right." I remember the next day they were like, he wanted to do like another fight, and I was like, "Bro, you already won." Like, I wonder where he's at now, but. Hopefully he's doing good. Hopefully he's not in a trash can. Shout out. I wish I remember that dude's name because I think about that all the time.
Listen, I want to say this too is an interesting thing. I don't believe obviously bullying is not a good thing, but I don't know. I think a good ass whooping.
A good ass whooping is good.
Once is enough. I mean, I did it. I ran my mouth. I still talk. Shout out to Sean Flannery. I ran my mouth to Sean Flannery. That motherfucker taught me a lesson.
Dog. I mean.
And I was like, huh. Yeah. You can't just say whatever you want to fucking say to anybody. There are consequences. And every person's different. Yeah. One person might run away and cry. Another person might come up and kick you in the fucking chest.
Yeah, so then I became like...
So I'm worried. I want to say this.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
All these anger management classes we're giving everybody. I think we might be making this planet a little bit softer.
A little bit softer.
When people do need a good kick in the ass.
People do need it's just a little good kick, But like, so like
it's
my
terrifying.
dream... So when I talk about
like,
my dream...
oh my God, a stranger wants to kill me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like... Oh, that's real.
I guess, let me take it back. So that dream that I have that gives me nightmares, it's me hurting someone I love.
Oh.
That's what it is.
That's different.
That's where
way different.
I get fucked up.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Like I get like I wake up in a panic that I like hurt somebody that I love. But if it's someone like that's just talking shit, it's like, you might get this fist. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it's just when it's that's where I like, it just gets dark for me because I've done that before where I've like, just like affected people that I love in a way that, was just very disrespectful and all this shit. And, and I love that these people are like still in my life and like, they've watched me. I think it's because, I've learned the world of like humility, and accountability, empathy. And I think, these people, have seen me grow in a way that like has made them like smile, which is like,
well, if you're the same person you were at 17, then you're a piece of shit.
Exactly.
In your 40s and 50s, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
No. So, shouts out to those people that like have stuck by my side and shit. But yeah, I have those dreams where I'm like, like there was one recently with like with my ex, and the thing like with my ex, like our relationship didn't end in like a bad way. We didn't hate each other or whatever. It's just, just ended. Right. And so I had a dream where I like, just hurt her like really bad. And I woke up in a fucking panic and I was like freaking out. I had to like call her, you know what I mean? Just to hear her voice and like, like everything okay, blah, blah, blah. And I told her, what it was. And, then she helped me like calm down. But yeah, those are like the nightmares that I like have. It ain't no like ghost, some shit like that. Like,
no.
I ain't having no nightmares.
I got
no
real shit
some
going
goblin
on.
coming chasing
Please,
me.
give me a night off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, give me a
I'll be looking back like,
I know, right. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about no goddamn goblin chasing me or whatever. It's motherfucking me like it's the things that I struggle to like overcome. That's where I get the nightmare. It's like, oh shit, I did that again. Fuck.
And you still have them? How often would you say you have them?
Shit, that was the other day.
Really? You have them like that?
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I don't know where like that comes from. I think it's I think that's why I like read and journal so much, because I just want to be, obviously the best person that I can be. You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's the other thing too. Like you're very into your mind and thinking, because in my 20s, I was the same way, angry as fuck. And I'll be like, I can't wait. I'll fuck this motherfucker up.
Oh, my God.
Now I think like, I don't know, I could hit this guy, he could fall, hit his head and die, and I'm going to prison. I never had any of those thoughts.
Yeah.
At 20, I was just like, let me hit this motherfucker.
Because we had no responsibilities then. Now we got responsibilities. Like damn, I could lose my house.
I could lose him, everything.
Yeah, my car might get repoed because I got to make payments for the hospital bill. Like, all these things like going in your head.
That's called maturity.
Yeah, exactly.
For
damn,
sure.
All right, I won't hit you, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, man, those dreams are like fucking wild though. It is wild. Like I'll wake up like sweating, even if it's cold in my room. I'll wake up.
Do you call anybody after?
So yeah, that's I had to call my ex and like just talk to her, because I was just like sorry to bug you, but just everything okay, all this stuff. I just had to like, I don't know, maybe that was the thing to just call and check on her, or maybe that is what that dream was saying. But yeah, those dreams, like I struggle with it.
But you're always hurting someone physically.
Huh?
Are you physically hurting them in the dream?
Yeah, like it's like this weird. I didn't physically like hurt her, or what. I'm just beating women in my dreams.
Listen, if that's where you're gonna do it, do it there. Don't do it in the real world.
Don't you try me in court.
Beat whoever you want in your dreams.
No,
okay?
No, but I think I just I grabbed her and was like in her face and just very aggressive or whatever, to her for like no reason. And it's like, and I just woke up and was like, man, but she talked to me and, calmed me down or whatever. And, what's funny about those dreams? Because she would have a dream that I think this happens to a lot of guys sometimes, but she had a dream that I cheated on her and she'd wake up mad at me. And I'm like, hey.
Every dude's had that day.
Yeah, I'm like, hey.
I didn't do a goddamn thing. Yeah, you did.
I know.
Yeah, you did. You know what you did. I'm like, I was what?
Yeah, I was what?
I'm sleeping in a whole separate sleep. I got a whole nother sleep going on over there.
You know what I mean?
I'm in another world.
I'm sitting here like,
literally.
What you mad at me for?
Yeah.
That was your dream.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like luckily, I worked it out. But I still have my struggles here and there. But for the most part, I feel like I am at like a pretty like solid ground. With everything. Like I'm having the time of my life with everything that I'm doing. Like obviously there's still like these like random struggles here and there, but for the most part, I feel like, yeah, I feel like all the reading and journaling has helped me like walk through life smoothly and stuff like that.
I mean, honestly, you didn't have, the easiest upbringing.
Oh, yeah.
And then you were talking about, you looked at me like I wasn't good at basketball. So as a black dude, not good at basketball, you're cheerleading.
Yeah, I was like,
choosing a lot of things.
Watch me kill it in cheerleading.
You're choosing a lot of things where people want to fucking test you.
Exactly, where people want to test you.
Yeah, with anger issues, that's a whole,
and there's things that like used to, I remember, man, there's things that used to like get me so upset, mainly when I was younger, that now that don't even like
fade,
so there, people like to comment. People like to say shit or whatever.
That's another thing. Being a person on the internet. Just getting ripped apart nonstop.
And I've come to realize, I'm like, hey, you're out there. Like, people are going to say things. So what? But there was this one person. This was the thing I used to get like a lot when I was like younger. But this dude wrote me. I went and did this club. I did Tommy T's, right? And have you ever done Tommy T's?
Mm-mm.
Well, I figure you haven't because Tommy
up north.
Yeah, it's up north. Tommy T's is like all black room, right?
Okay.
And when they booked me, I was like, y'all fucked up. Because it was so funny. I looked at their calendar. I was like, oh, Tommy T's. And obviously I should have known by the name Tommy T's.
Yeah.
But it was like I look at the lineup. It's like Bruce, all these people, Earthquake, all these people. And Gary Owen, and then on this like roster, or whatever. But which like I don't have like the fear. Like I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna be exactly who the fuck I am for these crowds. Like I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna pander or whatever. Blah blah blah. Like it's all black room, whatever. And so the first night, I did 2 nights there. The first night was like it was a rough set. You know what I mean? Which like that fucking happens to us. But I was like I don't give a fuck. I'm not backing down. And I remember this person that wrote me that I guess that was at that show, right? But they wrote me from like a burner account. And, they were like just talking shit, like saying like, yo, you get funny yet. Don't ever come to the Bay Area, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, this person's speaking for the Bay Area, But I was like, whatever, I don't really care. And then one of my homies was like going back and forth with the guy or whatever, just talking shit. And then they were just like calling me like a coon. And like saying I'm tap dancing for white people, all this shit, like, doing these kind of things, like it's shit that I would hear like when I was younger. And I used to get like upset at that shit. Then I realized I was like, I don't do anything that I do for people to like me. Like I'm not looking for, someone to like I don't need you to like me. Like I wasn't looking for you. I don't know who you are. You still don't, 1000% don't know who I am. And I ain't looking for your love. You know what I mean? So like, I don't even give a fuck about your love. If I don't give a fuck about your love, I don't give a fuck about your hate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Because if you like me, that's cool. I'm always gonna shake hands to that. And, but if you don't, like, I don't give a fuck like one way or the other. Because the thing is like you have to be comfortable being an individual. And like, I've walked the road of being a lone wolf. Since I was a fucking kid, like everything I was doing, like I was doing skateboarding at a time where if you were a black dude on the skateboard, you were like,
that's right too. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then punk rock, and then obviously like cheerleading, like I'm an odd man out on everything I do. So like, you telling me I don't fit in or I'm not this or you're trying to label me as this is like, well, I mean, yeah, you can feel that way. That's cool, but I don't give a fuck. But I think if I was younger, like when I was younger, I used to get it so bad.
Man, I couldn't be 20 some years old with the internet now and my anger issues back then and trying to be a comic, I'd be done.
Dude.
I'd have punched 10 people by now.
I know.
To be over.
But what's funny about it is like we had to deal with that shit. Here's the funny thing about the internet. Like the thing is when we were kids, people were saying it to our face.
That's the thing.
People. So which helps me like champion. Like
that's what the internet has ruined is accountability.
Accountability.
You can sit there and say whatever the fuck you want behind your keyboard and your monitor in a different state, different country, different whatever. But you ain't gonna walk up and say that to somebody's face.
No.
Because damn well there's a really good chance you're getting fucked up.
1,000%.
You might not meet a Chappelle Lacey or Ryan Sickler who worked on their anger issues. You might meet 17-year-old me, and I'm gonna kick you in the fucking chest.
Exactly. I'm gonna kick that chest in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like because I've dealt with like those, those things used to make me deal with like these I had this like weird identity crisis on a racial level. Like I did, not that I thought I was white, but I like all of a sudden I didn't know if I was black because we were saying I wasn't. You know what I mean? Like I knew I wasn't white. I just knew. I was like, I know I ain't that. Yeah, some of the shit, I'm like, I would never do that. But anyways, but, I think, through reading and journaling and just kind of finding like the strength and like individuality and not saying I want to be alone, but I'm just saying like understanding my strength as an individual. Like, what am I when I'm not what am I without a relationship? What am I without comedy? What am I without podcasting or talking to people? Who am I? You know what I mean? I think when you find that, which is what I've been able to find, I think I've been able to handle things a lot smoother because of thinking like that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's how I like to walk through life, is just always understanding me before anyone else could. So like now when people say shit, and I knew the person was black because they followed an HBCU account. I was like, is this Dr. Umar Johnson?
He follows 3-step teams.
Yeah,
pretty sure this guy. Pretty sure he's black.
Yeah, I was like, pretty sure. But no, man, yeah, just like.
And now it comes full circle, and now you're teaching anger management.
Yeah, like if anything.
Do you just men, or is it men and women?
Men and women.
It is.
Yeah, men and women. Yeah.
Who's angrier?
Who's angrier?
Who's angrier?
You know what? In that world, like the recovery world, like people like recovering, that it's kind of like you see a lot of the similarities.
Do you really?
Yeah, because they have a substance that they're using behind it.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That changes who you are. Yeah.
I think if I had someone, like if it was people that weren't, addicts or anything like that, then it'd be different.
That was me. I wasn't drinking or doing drugs. I was just mad.
See, I was drinking on top of it.
Were you?
Wild turkey, 101 proof, baby.
Yeah.
Put a little hair on your chest.
Yeah.
Bro, I used to, you want to know what a night like was for me?
Tell me.
As an alcoholic?
At your lowest. Yes.
Yep. Ready? So what I would do, I would go to this bar back home, and it's still there. It's like one of the coolest.
It's Arizona?
Arizona. Yep. Back home in Arizona. It's called Crescent Ballroom. It was cool fucking joint, right? And I would go there a lot because it was like the only bar that would serve wild turkey. Because most bars don't serve it.
The first thing I drank,
no one's
why?
Why? So I had to like be on a search, like Google, who serves wild turkey? So what I would do, I would go there, and this is how I'd start my night. I go, give me a double of wild turkey, right?
Straight up,
right? And then they had this drink called the Honey Badger, right? It was like ginger beer, honey whiskey, and something else, right? Like maybe like soda water or something. I don't know. And I would go there. I would like, go, give me that, right? And I would do the wild turkey. I would take it through a straw and go. And finish it like quick, and then I would
double shot straight through a straw.
Yes, with ice on the rocks. I know. I was a psycho. So then I would do that drink, wait a little bit, then I grab the Honey Badger drink, and I go like that, and then I start my night.
That's how you started.
That's how it started. But I was coasting for the rest of the night.
You should have been.
Right? It wasn't like I was like, but it was just like if I knew I wanted to get down, it was like. That's how I would get down. I was a nut.
I'm glad you're not now. Good for you, for real. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no.
And opening yourself up and being honest about it. I know there's a lot of angry people out there.
You're good about letting people open up and not making people feel weird about their shit. Because that's the tough part. Like people probably want to. There's a lot of people that want to say a lot of shit, but probably can't because they're like it's just.
I've had people respectfully decline to come on the show because they're like, I just don't want to talk about my worst shit ever. And I'm like, I fucking get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
You get it. Yeah. And also, you understand that too.
Yeah.
Those people will get there.
They'll come around.
Yeah. You'll tell that wild turkey story.
More shit's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
One more time, plug, promote all of it.
Yeah, listen to my podcast, Lesser Known Characters with me and Joel Jimenez. And then I forgot my dates. Right. Because I be touring, bro. No, I'm just kidding. What was it? July 11th through 13th, Rochester, New York, Comedy at the Carlson. One night in Portland, Oregon at the Helium Comedy Club, July 28th. August 1st, one-nighter at Tempe Improv. And then any of my friends, please don't come to that show. August 15th through the 17th, I'll be in Washington, D.C. at the D.C. Comedy Lab. I hate performing for my friends.
Yeah, I hear that.
They bug me. Drive me crazy.
Brad Williams was on the way back, and he's like, man, my friends, they say they want to try comedy. I'm like, you want to try comedy? I'll tell you what. I'll let you open up for me. You can do 5 minutes before my show. I go, you tell your friends that? He goes, yeah. And I looked right at the camera. I said, I do not tell my friends. And I will never. Ain't none of y'all coming to open up.
Never would bring them up.
That's a nightmare I have. I try to wake up from.
It is the worst.
Well, thank you, brother. For
thanks
real.
for having me.
And as always, thank you, Ryan Sickler, on all your social media. Come see me on tour. Tickets are on my website at ryansickler.com. We'll talk to y'all next week.